Welcome back everybody, Broadbent here. Today we are checking out a brand new update 0.57 for the Forest. In this video I'm going to cover pretty much all of the changes. I'm going to cover the main additions first, and then later on will be the smaller changes and the bug fixes. If you want to check out the full changelog, the link will be in the description. So the snow bushes in the biome have got a new particle effect. When you walk into it or hit it, you can see that the snow just goes into the air. It looks a lot like the snow drifting, pretty much exactly the same thing, however this is more of a controlled area. Really nice change, however it doesn't happen for any other bush, it's just this one in the snow biome. It should happen for all of them in my eyes. So finally, they have added cache as a refueling option for fires. So previously it would only choose cache when you ran out of leaves, so now you can choose in between them. So if you want to save up leaves for some bone armor, you can do that now. In multiplayer they've added a new beard and hair model. This looks absolutely outstanding, and then they've also added a new shader. The hair just looks really nice in this new update. However, the faces could do with a bit of an update, especially the eyebrows. I just feel like they're lacking some detail. They've added a bunch of new waterfalls in caves. So every item has now got its own new icon. You can see this when you pick up items on the floor or hover over them in your inventory. They've added a new home icon on shelters, cabins, and the bed. So you can now choose the home icon to be a certain color. Really nice change. It helps out when you want to figure out where you're going. You can also select the tinted icon to have the icon visible in the world, or you can choose the faded icon to hide the icon. So now each icon is toggleable, so you can choose certain ones to be on and certain ones to be off. Fires, drying racks, armor mannequins, skin racks, food holders, weapon racks, explosive holder, stick, rock, and log holders, arrow and bone baskets, and gardens all have a new user interface. Bloody hell, that's a long list. This does look really nice, I will admit, but when I first look at it, I'm not sure if it's out of place or something just looks odd about it. I don't think this was a change that was needed, but overall it looks good. They've improved the look of kicked up sand and dust particles. Blood will now accumulate on all player clothing variations. So this is a bit more of a bug fix, but it's still an addition. So if enemies lose sight of a player when you're running into a structure, they will more often than not try to break down that door. In the last update, I think it was missing this, and you could just basically evade them by running into a house and they would completely lose you. Particulate matter now appears when the player is underwater. Struggled to get some footage of this, so here's some water. Wearing cold armor now also increases the delay between frost damage hits up to 4 times at full armor. So if you've got full deer armor equipped, you won't take frost damage for 40 seconds at a time. They've improved the transition between tree cut sections and tree models. I think they worded this a bit odd, but basically I went around chopping a bunch of trees at once and I struggled to notice any texture differences. Before, you could see that the textures didn't quite match properly in some situations, but now, in my experience, they match all the time. Really nice change. Players and enemies can no longer run up the sides of cannibal huts. This change makes me quite sad, but I feel like for the game's purpose, it's a good move. The player, though, should be able to climb up it in my eyes. In multiplayer, they have mixed some of the forced variation for the randomness of player skins and clothing rolls. They've made quite a few audio changes. The first one is the opening plane and other sequences are now mixed in surround sound. Cave reverberation has been made less bass heavy. Hitting rocks in caves now has reverberation. Rain sounds more varied and smoother and more surrounding. The shipping container area has been given a unique plastic audio event. Animal skinning animation sequence now has unique sound event. When the crows are flying, you can now hear the flapping wings. They have optimized animal and enemy traps to only spawn in nearby enemies and animals caught, instead of loading them all in, which will improve memory usage on large saves. Players can no longer carry or pick up dead bodies while swimming. Fixed enemies not able to target a player when attacking or caught in a noose trap. Fixed player clipping through enemies that were caught in noose trap. So these last two changes make it so that the cannibal is actually there in the trap. Before, it was literally unable to do anything. It was ready for you to slaughter. You can now pick up fish killed with weapons other than a spear. Snow particles will now properly appear for animals in multiplayer. In multiplayer, other players will now be holding the updated flares. The survival book will now properly open while blocking, and they have fixed the book sometimes opening at the wrong screen position when the player is cold. I think I've noticed this in my own survival world actually. It's a very interesting bug, or it was. Fixed enemies sometimes ragdolling incorrectly when they burn to death. So you've got to be a lot more careful now when you're inside your own structure, as the cannibals can now see you through windows. You can now see the wood chopping particles for other players in multiplayer. Fixed player sometimes unintentionally doing the tree chop animation when swinging melee weapons near a tree. Fixed issues with skinning animals and holding Walkman, causing the Walkman to be reset. They have applied a fix for animals sometimes rolling away from the player while being skinned. They fixed the held log hand animation sometimes being too slow to respond after picking up a log. In multiplayer, clients can no longer chop down trees with a climbing axe. What? Fixed arrows sometimes going underneath terrain if shot directly downwards. They have fixed the running while crouching speed being applied inconsistently. Fixed player able to fast climb ropes with no stamina. Yes, I've been asking for this for ages. Logs will now collide with log sleds. Fixed trees sometimes spinning around wildly when blown up with explosives. You can no longer duplicate weapons by placing them and picking them up rapidly off of a weapon rack. Alright everyone, well that is everything for the 0.57 update. There are some things that I missed. If you want to go and check them out, the link is in the description for the full changelog. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on the video. Alright everyone, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.